Bernard Cribbins makes another appearance later this afternoon as the railway porter in the film version of E. Nesbit's Edwardian classic, The Railway Children, played by Jenny Agutter, Sally Tomsit and Gary Warren. That's at 4:40 here on One. Starting shortly, BBC Two explores the world of pantomime, with such seasoned performers as John Inman, Terry Scott and the late Arthur Askey, revealing something of the tradition behind the familiar cry of, "Oh yes I am, oh no you're not." This is BBC One, and now for the news headlines we hand over to Moira Stewart.
Good afternoon. A man has been found dead after a 7-hour siege at a house in southeast London. Armed police rescued 3 young children and another man from an upstairs window shortly before they discovered the body. The incident happened at Thamesmead. It's thought that the dead man shot himself.
Police sealed off a large area of the Thamesmead estate after shots were heard in the house where a 30-year-old woman lived with her 3 young children. It's understood her former boyfriend returned in the early hours of this morning, and when he found another man there, a fight ensued. The woman escaped to safety, but for almost 7 hours, armed police surrounded the house, believing the gunman was barricaded in the kitchen. The children remained upstairs with the other man. Police eventually led them to safety down a ladder from the bathroom window. In the kitchen, they found the body of a man with head wounds. A shotgun lay beside him. The children, aged 3, 6 and 9, were taken to hospital for checkups, but were clearly none the worse for their ordeal.
They're okay. They slept through quite a lot of it, fortunately, upstairs. They were in one of the upstairs bedrooms. They slept through it. They're not harmed in any way. They saw it as a bit of an adventure, I suppose, you know, as children will, so they don't really realise the seriousness of it.
Search for missing 17-year-old Samantha Ettridge is continuing, with police now working on the theory that she's being held against her will. It's feared Samantha may have been abducted after catching a minicab on Christmas Eve. She phoned her parents at their home at Cheshunt in Hertfordshire yesterday, and police say she was clearly distressed. 2 sisters have been killed in a fire at their home in Gloucestershire. They were trapped upstairs when the fire broke out at a cottage in Nailsworth last night. The girls, aged 15 and 4, have been named as Lucy and Ozith Malone. Firemen say their father, John Malone, tried to reach them first by the stairs and then using a ladder outside the house. He saved his son but couldn't get to the girls. It took firemen more than an hour to put out the blaze. The exact cause isn't yet known. England have retained the Ashes after beating Australia by an innings and 14 runs in the 4th Test match in Melbourne. They now lead 2-0 in the series. The final scores: Australia 141 and 194, England 349.
England badly wanted a breakthrough early on, and Boone obligingly provided it, caught by Mike Gatting. Border, again stuck with the role of Australia's saviour, was for once miscast, caught by Embury. Marsh then set about his own downfall, a suicidal run, and he was gone for 60. The last wicket, that of Hughes, caught by man of the match Gladstone Small. Australia with little left to hold on to, the Ashes safe in English hands.
We won the toss. We hoped to bowl them out for about 250, but we got them out for 140, and the lads batted well, and then today we just bowled one and everything went right, so it was tremendous.
Our next news is on BBC One at 6:25.
And now to take a look at the weather prospects with farmers in mind, here's Bill Giles.
Thanks very much. Well, that was good news about the cricket, wasn't it? And the weather's not bad news either. It's not been too bad in the last week of 1986. It's been fairly mild. There's been some rain about, but really not excessive amounts. In fact, the last week's rain show upon our league tables here. Lerwick, top of the league, 47 millimetres, and remember 25 millimetres to the inch, so nearly 2 inches of rain. Tyree, 1.5 inches. But most places, in fact, ended up with about ½ an inch of rain. And it looks as though there will be some more rain coming this week, but staying fairly mild. Well, the satellite picture shows a great deal of cloud sitting across the country right out into the Atlantic. It's the white cloud that is the thickest cloud, the rain-bearing cloud, and that's associated with these frontal systems that you see stretched out to the north and well out to the west of us. Now, I put another little warm front on here. This is a band of cloud and some rain and drizzle now working its way from west to east across the country. In fact, I can show you the rainfall chart with the computer charts now. These are the grey areas. That shows where the rain and drizzle is, and if I run the sequence for the next 24 hours, you can see that really not a great deal happens over the British Isles. Most of the rain and drizzle stays in the north and down the western side of the country, and we still stay with this run of very mild but quite strong southwesterly winds pushing their way right in across the country. And the weather map by tomorrow will look a little bit like that, with most of the rain on this front up in the north. Well, let's have a look at today's weather in a little bit more detail for you. And basically it is a